Aloha Commanders, and welcome to Later Tonight with Dr. Iron Chef, hosted on Aloha Diz.
Please be sure to follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube for all the latest content.
Today we discuss the new blog post from Star Trek Fleet Command celebrating International Women's Day. You ready to take a deep dive into this?
Absolutely. Let's warp speed ahead. This blog post isn't just about a celebration. It's a fascinating look at the impact of women throughout Star Trek history and how that's reflected in Star Trek Fleet Command.
Okay, let's unpack this. The post starts by giving a shout out to the amazing women behind the scenes, the ones who helped make Star Trek the phenomenon it is.
What's interesting here is how it highlights figures we might not immediately think of. Like, did you know Lucille Ball was instrumental in getting the original Star Trek series off the ground?
Wait, really? Lucille Ball as in I love Lucille Ball.
The one and only. Her company, Desilu Productions, took a chance on Star Trek when nobody else would. It's a testament to her vision and her willingness to take risks.
Wow, I had no idea. Talk about a power move. She really paved the way for so many others.
Absolutely. And speaking of paving the way, the post also spotlights DC Fontana, one of the first female writers for Star Trek. She wrote some of the most iconic episodes of the original series and went on to become a major force in science fiction television.
So these women weren't just part of Star Trek, they helped shape its very DNA.
Exactly. They brought unique perspectives and voices to the table, and their contributions are still felt today.
And it's not just the women behind the scenes. The post also dives into some of the most iconic female characters in Star Trek history.
We're talking about characters who broke barriers, challenged stereotypes, and inspired generations of viewers.
When we talk about women on screen, we have to talk about Lieutenant Uhura. Nichelle Nichols' portrayal was groundbreaking.
Absolutely. She wasn't just a communications officer. She was a symbol of progress, showing the world that women of color belong on the bridge and inspiring generations of viewers.
No doubt. Her impact is undeniable. It really makes you think. What did it mean for people to see her on screen back in the 60s?
I mean, it was huge, especially considering the social climate at the time. Uhura was like a vision of the future where Black women were not just present, but vital members of a highly skilled team.
Right. And then years later, we had Captain Janeway from Voyager, the first woman to captain a Star Trek series. Talk about taking the helm.
Exactly. She proved women could lead with strength and compassion, and she wasn't afraid to make tough decisions.
Oh, for sure. Plus, Janeway was stranded in the Delta Quadrant, right?
Yeah.
She had to make some really, really difficult calls to get her crew home. I think that resonates even more with players in a game like Star Trek Fleet Command, where strategy and leadership are everything.
It's true. In a game where you're building your own fleet, making these strategic choices, having a character like Janeway as your inspiration, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Speaking of powerful women, let's not forget all the other amazing female characters like Deanna Troi, Jansia Dax, T-Pole, Seven of Nine.
So many.
Each one brought something unique to the table, challenging stereotypes and showing all the different ways women can be strong and intelligent.
And that's a key point, isn't it? It's not about portraying all strong women in the same way. It's about showing that strength can be expressed in a lot of different forms, whether it's through empathy or logic or scientific brilliance or overcoming personal trauma.
Exactly. These characters show that women can be scientists, diplomats, warriors, leaders, anything they set their minds to. And that's a message that's still so relevant today.
Absolutely. And Star Trek continues to push boundaries with its female characters, even today.
Oh, for sure. Michael Burnham in Discovery,
Yep.
Raffi Musiker and Soji Asha in Picard. They're all dealing with such complex issues and pushing boundaries in their own ways.
What's interesting is how these modern characters actually reflect the complexities of our own time.
Right.
They grapple with these themes of identity, trauma, and societal change in ways that resonate with viewers today.
Absolutely. They're not just characters in a sci-fi show. They feel real and relatable. And I think that's what makes them so compelling.
It's the combination of those larger-than-life circumstances, but with very human emotions and struggles. I mean, that's what makes Star Trek so enduring.
Totally. And the blog post also gives a shout out to the women in the Star Trek Fleet Command community itself.
Yeah. It's easy to just focus on the fictional characters, but there are real women out there right now, leading alliances, strategizing across galaxies, building incredible communities within this game.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
They're living out the Star Trek ideals, but in like a digital world.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is, and it shows how gaming can be a space for collaboration and leadership, and frankly, just having fun.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so we've talked about all these amazing women of Star Trek, past and present, but how is Fleet Command specifically celebrating International Women's Day. They're offering 2 epic bundles, right?
Oh, yeah. You know it. Get ready for this because they're serving up some serious power-ups for your fleet.
All right, break it down for us. What's in these bundles that has everyone so excited?
Well, first you have the International Women's Day bundle, and it is packed with shards for some of Star Trek's most powerful female officers. We're talking Janeway, Tolra, Mariner, and get this, a full unlock of Makinen. That's a serious boost right there.
Hold on. A full Makinen unlock. Wow, that's got to have players doing victory flips.
For sure.
But what about the other bundle? You mentioned 2, right? Spill the tea.
All right. You want the good stuff. This is where it gets really interesting. This one is, for all our Mirror Universe fans out there, it's the Interdimensional Women's Day bundle. And it features, drumroll please, the one and only Emperor Georgia.
Double GG action. 2 bundles, 2 chances to power up. Okay, I got to know more about that Mirror Universe bundle. You can't just drop Emperor Georgia and walk away. Give us the details.
Okay, you got me. So with the Interdimensional Women's Day bundle, you get full unlocks for both Emperor Georgia and Epic Georgia from the Discovery crew. Talk about a power couple.
Double the GG, double the fun. I can already imagine players plotting their strategies with those 2 leading the charge. But wait, isn't there something else? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
You think you know GG, but there's always more. On top of those 2 Georgia unlocks, you also get 5 shards for a brand new Section 31 Georgia. Now that is a force to be reckoned with.
A brand new Section 31 Georgia. This is huge. Okay, listeners, if you're not excited yet, I don't know what to tell you. We're talking shards for powerful officers like Janeway, Tolra, and Mariner. A full Makinen unlock. And not 1, not 2, but 3 Georges to add to your roster.
This is like the ultimate power-up package, especially for players who love a little bit of that Mirror Universe edge. It's a great way to celebrate International Women's Day and make your fleet seriously formidable.
All right, Commanders, you heard it here first. If you want to snag these bundles, you better head to the in-game gift section before they're gone.
Don't miss out. This is a limited-time opportunity to add some legendary female officers to your roster.
And remember, whether you're commanding starships or leading alliances, your contributions matter. Just like the women of Star Trek, you have the power to make a difference.
So go out there and make it so, Commanders.
And remember, live long and prosper.
Speaking of GG, I think it's really cool how they included a Section 31 Georgia in this bundle.
Right. It's like they're acknowledging all the different sides of her character, not just the ruthless emperor.
Exactly. We see her as this emperor, but also as this complex figure grappling with her past, trying to find her place in this new universe.
She's definitely one of the most fascinating characters in modern Star Trek. I mean, you never know what she's going to do next.
That's what makes her such a great character to play in Fleet Command, too. You know, you can use her cunning and strategic brilliance to your advantage in so many ways.
Oh, for sure. And Michelle Yeoh plays her brilliantly.
Absolutely. She brings so much depth and nuance to the role.
Okay, so we've gushed about GG. I mean, how could we not? But what stands out to you about these bundles overall?
Honestly, I'm excited about all of it.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one thing, I'd say the Section 31 Georgia shards are the most tempting. There's just something so intriguing about a brand new character with all that Section 31 potential.
Ooh, I see where you're going with that. A brand new character means brand new strategies. You can really experiment and find new ways to, dominate. I mean, play nicely with others. Starfleet and all that.
Right. Of course, always with diplomacy and good sportsmanship. But you're right, having a new character like that, it really injects some fresh energy into the game. Plus, her Section 31 skills, those could be a real game changer.
No doubt about it. She's a master manipulator, a strategist. Having her on your side would definitely give you a serious edge.
It's interesting, though, right? This idea of celebrating powerful women by playing as characters who are, well, sometimes morally ambiguous.
That's a great point. I mean, we're celebrating International Women's Day, a day all about progress and empowerment. And here we have characters like Emperor Georgia who, let's be honest, aren't exactly role models in the traditional sense.
Exactly. So how do we reconcile that? I think it speaks to the complexity of these characters and the fact that, strength doesn't always look the same. It's not always about being perfectly good or following the rules all the time. Sometimes it's about fighting for what you believe in, even if it means bending the rules a little.
Or making tough choices that challenge conventional morality. It's about recognizing that women are just as capable of moral ambiguity as men, which Ultimately, I think makes them more interesting and relatable.
I think you're right. It's about recognizing that power can be expressed in many different ways, and that sometimes the most compelling characters are the ones who defy easy categorization.
Totally. They make us think, challenge our assumptions, keep us guessing. It's not just about celebrating their strength, but also their complexity and how that reflects the real world. I mean, nobody's perfect.
Absolutely. And seeing that reflected in these powerful female characters, that's something special.
So what does all this mean for our listeners?
Well, I think it means that these bundles offer a really cool chance to celebrate International Women's Day, but in a fun and engaging way. You can add some incredible characters to your fleet and engage with these thought-provoking ideas about representation, power, and what it means to be a strong woman in the 21st century.
It's about more than just the game, right? It's about connecting with these characters and their stories, and maybe even being inspired by them in our own lives.
Exactly. Maybe we'll even be inspired to break a few boundaries of our own.
Now, that would be truly living long and prospering.
Indeed. It's about carrying that Star Trek spirit with us into our everyday lives.
So as we wrap up, I just want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Think about all the women in your life who have inspired you. Your mothers, sisters, friends, teachers, mentors.
The women who have paved the way for you to be who you are today,
Take a moment to appreciate their contributions,
and to thank them for being the amazing women they are.
because they're the ones who truly embody the spirit of International Women's Day.
Beautifully said.
All right, Commanders, it's time for us to sign off.
But we'll be back soon with another deep dive into the fascinating world of Star Trek.
Be sure to follow Dr. Iron Chef on Twitch and subscribe to Aloha Dis on YouTube.
Mahalo for joining us.
And remember, live long and prosper.